Hello and welcome to another review from the Steam Chamber. I'm Lord Elemental and today we're looking at Shootmania Storm. Now Shootmania Storm is a new esports shooter, or new competitive shooter from Nadeo, which is a French dev. They are also responsible for Trackmania, which some of you may be familiar with. It's fairly popular on Steam. It's more popular sort of on the continent in Europe than it is perhaps in the UK or the States. But anyway, Shootmania is their new offering. It's following very much a similar principle of community-driven content and competitive play. It's a heavily customizable game and it has been built from the ground up with esports in mind. Now, this game is so sort of built with esports in mind that it feels more like playing a sports game than any other shooter does from the absolute offset. Now, I mentioned the heavy customization. You can create maps, you can create groups, you can rent and create servers, you can host and create local games, you can edit the game type scripts, although I haven't quite figured that out yet. There does seem to be quite a steep learning curve when it comes to that. You can also customize and add new titles to the browser interface. Now, gameplay. Now, this is, as I mentioned before, this is very much built with esports and competitive sports and spectator sports in mind. It's a game very much in the game of classic games such as Quake, but very much with a modern twist. So it is a twitch shooter with a very, very fast pace. It's a very, very simple game. It's basically just the one weapon. Sometimes you'll have a couple of weapons, but essentially it's attack, jump, speed boost, and context-sensitive actions. It's got the usual objectives. It's, eliminate the enemy team, capture points, defend an objective, but there is a fair selection of game modes to choose from at the moment, and as I mentioned earlier, you can customize them. So I've been playing mainly the standard battles in the Storm server, or browser, whichever you want to call it, or the channel. But I've also been playing a fair amount of Elite as well, which is a fantastic game mode. So with Elite, it's two teams of three, one team defending. The defenders all have one unit of armor and are equipped with what are essentially rocket launchers. The attacking team, only one person attacks at a time, and he has a one-shot weapon and he has 3 armor units, so that sort of balances out quite well. So by winning, to win the round, you either have to eliminate the enemy team, or as the attacker you have to capture the objective. Now, you cannot capture the objective instantly. It does take a little while for it to become live, so it does force you to fight and to run a bit. Now, because as I said, it does balance it out, so it's not just as simple of being ganged up on. As long as you can keep people strung out, you're fairly alright. It's not. If you get surrounded, you're screwed. It's over. However, if you can string people out, it's okay, because, like I say, you've got 3 units of health and they've only got 1 each. It isn't unbalanced at all. Like I say, it isn't unbalanced at all. You have 3 units of health. The enemy has only 1 apiece. Your weapon effectively kills in 1 shot. Theirs take 3 shots. So it really does balance it out. Like I say, it's really just a matter of stringing them out and either trying to keep away from them until you can grab the capture point, or taking out the enemy team one by one. And it really isn't best. You see a lot of people hanging back at the very start of the map and trying to fire blindly at people from a distance. It's really best off to spread them out a little bit and move around, but not get too close, because of course their weapons have area of effect damage, where yours is just a pinpoint weapon. In standard battle, I believe it's 4 on 4, and you are generally equipped with either 1 or 2 weapons. You have 3 or 4 units of health. It really does depend on the rules, and a direct hit with a rocket might take 2 points of armor off, whereas a glancing blow takes off 1 unit. Now, you can capture points to help you out. However, it is essentially a team deathmatch. But as I say, there are lots of other modes available. I was trying some custom ones last night. There's even an obstacle course mode, so to see if you can get around the map in the shortest amount of time without dying. But it really does feel like a sports game. Like I say, there's a hell of a lot of tension in the game. The fact that it's so simple and keeps things so simple and just takes things down to the raw competition is great, and it really, really adds to the tension of the game. And when you do get that kill or get that objective, it really does feel like you've just scored a winning goal for your sports team. Now, with a Twitch shooter, Obviously, controls are massively important, and the controls do handle very, very well. As I said earlier, it's essentially just running, jumping, stamina, which includes a jump and is sort of a speed run, but it also becomes a context-sensitive action as well. So, for instance, on some maps there'll be glowing orbs on the roof. Now, if you look at those and right-click using your spacebar to use your stamina, then you will shoot a laser rope at those orbs, and you'll be able to swing from simply one side of the map to the other. I really have nothing, I can really say nothing bad about the controls. The controls handle really well, it's really smooth, really fluid. The only thing I will say is, for some reason, jump without using, just a full jump without using any stamina was not bound to any key when I started playing the game, so I had to rebind that myself. So do check the options to make sure I'm bound to something. I don't know if that was just my setup or if that's something, an oversight of the developers. Graphically speaking, it's a really nice looking game. It's really sharp, it's got nice colours, you can see everything, the enemies stand out, the map designs are really nice. The aesthetic of the game is very much sort of a Western European Napoleonic era fort looks to everything. You know, everything's done in sort of yellow, white, stone, abandoned forts. The animations are solid. It's a really nice looking game in general. The UI itself is also very much geared to sports, and it does feel it looks more like a HUD of some sort of sports game than it does for a shooter. But everything's really nice and clearly laid out for you. And there's some really nice touches, like being told exactly how close you were to being hit or hitting another. So if you do shoot an enemy, it will pop up and tell you 3 centimeters away from the enemy, or it will do the same for when they're attacking you. You've been missed by half a meter or so. It's a really nice touch. Just lets you know just how lucky you've been, or just how accurate or inaccurate you are whilst on the fly. Your armour is nicely separated into how many blocks you have, and it's really clear. Same as your ammo. It's very much the same setup, and your stamina bar as well. Another really nice setup is when you start the game, there will be an information board in front of you and give you some basic information. Pressing F1 will also bring up the rules of the game on that board as well. So if you've just jumped in, you really don't know what you're doing. Hit F1 and it gives you all the information you need, which is really nice. It does very much feel like a tale of a tape from some sort of fight. Another really nice touch is whenever you do take a hit on your armour, not only does it reflect on the bar, but you also get an audio prompt which changes pitch with every subsequent hit, so you do know whether, even if you're not looking at the UI very closely, you are aware of how much armor you've got left. Also, it does tell you clearly if you've hit the enemy armor, and it will pop up with an on-screen, +1, +2 for if you've hit the enemy. So it does give you a really nice, clear set of information when playing the game, so you know just where you stand in terms of the game. Now, speaking of the audio prompts, the sounds in the game are really, really good. As I mentioned, the prompts are nice. Another really nice feature of the game is the music. The music is fantastic, and it really syncs to the game really well. And it's really nice to see them bucking the trend of dubstep for a change as well. Too often with these games, especially the genre and the shooting genre, they are relying far too heavily on dubstep music at the minute, and this game doesn't do that. The included map editor is fairly comprehensive. It's good, and it has both a simple and an advanced mode, therefore it gives you a real opportunity to get introduced to it before you start doing anything too advanced. And plus, for those casual players, it's a lot easier just to whip a map together on the fly, as opposed to the people that want to really spend some time and really think about how they lay things out. The beauty of the custom maps actually is the fact that they don't look custom, they look completely official. There's something about the modular design of the map editor that makes things look really great and brings everything together. It really does look like it's been designed from the ground up that way. Now, at the moment, there's not a huge amount of people from the UK playing this game, but that may change this weekend, as games tend to sell far better on weekends in the UK. However, you will not have a problem finding games, as there are plenty of people playing this on the continent, particularly in Germany and France, where the game is developed. Ultimately, though, this is probably one of the most fun games I've played in quite a while, actually. It's a game that will appeal to both FPS fans and sports fans, or in some cases neither, because of its pure simplistic beauty. The game really is quite bare bones competitive play, and that makes it a great game whether you're alone or in part of a group. Now, I really do feel this game has to be played to be truly appreciated, as I don't think images or videos really do it real justice. I defy anyone to play the elite mode and not feel the adrenaline rush when destroying the enemy team single-handedly. It's definitely worth buying. As always, thank you for watching, and please do like, comment and subscribe, as it really does help us out. Thank you.